Hello and welcome to Talking Dogs on a Monday. Of course, we are talking all things Friends of Cork Greyhound Racing, Irish Laurels. Two semi-finalists look back on them from Saturday night, an intriguing final to look ahead to this weekend. We'll also touch upon the Juvenile Derby and one or two other bits. I'm joined as always by the exiled dub, Tommy Lyons, from his Youghal base, and from the other room, the next room over, Barry Drake, another Youghal-based individual, a man who was certainly at Curraheen Park on Saturday night and hopefully enjoying the racing. Barry, great racing on Saturday night. We had two very interesting semi-finals. Neither probably, it's fair to say, going quite to plan, although Ballymac one was strongly fancied. But the second heat, one time only, sort of caught us all in the hop a bit.
Yeah, that was certainly a big upset, and winners were hard to come by in the two semi-finals. I'm sure bookmakers had good results in both those heats. A couple of hard luck stories as well. Along the way, the opening semi-final, Ballymac Wild was in prime position heading into the opening turn. That left a bit of a sour taste, but look, that's greyhound racing, and overall, I suppose it was a great night for trainer Thomas O'Donovan because he's too true to the final, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But overall, look, a very exciting night of racing.
Tommy, I was watching from Shelbourne Park from the commentary box, but as they went to the opening corner in that opening heat, I heard a scream from the stands downstairs, "Go on wild." I didn't realise it at the time, but Dylan Brennan was actually in attendance. I think his heart was broken in a matter of seconds. Dylan was all over Ballymac Wild, we heard last week. It looked like he was going to clear the bend, but in the end, it was this kennel companion that seemed to catch him on the heels. It happened all so quickly. I don't exactly know how it happened, but Romeo Magico went from being in one, from being on the outside, sweep the yard, going from fifth on the outside to, basically leading off the second bend, and then Ballymac one left second. He showed great speed down the back straight to get to the front. Sweep the yard, came back at him, but Ballymac one held on to beat Sweep the Yard, and back in third was 6 Epic Hero, two greyhounds who we basically dismissed. Sweep the Yard and Epic Hero are now in the final of the Laurels. We just thought they had no chance from the draw. They probably did need a little bit of luck, but they got it. And as a result, Tommy O'Donovan has two finalists in the Laurels with Epic Hero and One Time Only. But that opening heat, Tommy, so much happened, especially in those 15 yards prior to the bend and the 50 yards after the bend.
Yeah, Ballymac Wild, as Barry said, was in prime position to win the heat. He's actually been running superbly, and it's actually desperately unlucky for him not to be in the final. Of all the greyhounds in the final 12, for him not to be in the last 6 is a bit of a shame, because he had been running so well. Romeo Magico, as you said, I'm not really sure what happened. I'm reasonably confident, without being certain, that Ballymac showed the pace up to the bend and kind of clipped or bumped into Ballymac Wild. Whether he was pushed out, whether he just Ballymac Wild cut the bend, I don't know what happened, but it just all changed in a matter of strides. Again, like Ballymac one is doing it without pulling up trees. That'd be fair to say. Like, he's like, I still think the clock is 28:58. Okay, there was a bit of bumping and whatever else. I still think like he's a dog capable of 10 lengths better than that, and I don't think that's an exaggeration by any means. He's a dog that's capable of dipping under 28 seconds there easily. He's sensationally fast, and it's funny that he's after winning a couple of rounds without, what I would say is, without hitting top form. So I think again we saw the difference between trap 1 and trap 2. You really have to do things extra right in terms of, if you're coming out of trap 2. If you're in trap 1, what an advantage it is. It's funny because I know we'll have to look at the final in a bit more detail, but like, there's probably 3 dogs in the final that you said if they were trap 1, they were certainties.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the dog that's gone into trap 1 probably doesn't want to be there.
We don't. Yeah, exactly. We don't know. I didn't see that run coming at all, and I've looked back at his form to see, was I missing something? I don't think I was. I didn't spot it. I didn't see it. Maybe, my fault. But I didn't guess that was going to happen. Like, the 2 heat winners were 3-1 Ballymac 12-1 One Time Only. I think that'll tell you what type of night it was.
Barry, that opening heat, Sweep the Yard was left in front, couldn't quite hold Ballymac down the back straight, was coming back at him, but he'd gone so close last year to making the final, a semi-finalist, of course, in 2020. Here we are a year later in 2021, and Sweep the Yard is there in the final. He's just a dog that loves Curraheen Park in Cork, and I know Teddy Hegarty was more than interested in the draw. He's one of the broken bookies that owns Sweep the Yard. I'm not sure who else is involved, but they're getting some tune out of this fellow.
Yeah, they sure are. Look, he's an ultra consistent greyhound. You could bring him anywhere, any night, and he'll deliver a big performance. Unfortunately, though, for connections, like he's been handed a terrible draw in trap number 6. You'd be cursing your luck after being handed that draw. But look, that's the way it is. Unfortunately, someone has to run from trap number 6, and it's going to be a huge negative on the night. Just in terms of Ballymacfairwan, Boyle Sports have installed him as their 2-1 market leader. I'd echo what Tommy said. Hasn't really, been that great, I don't think, in the competition. The night he won from trap number 1, he had everything in his favour. And other than that, he won a messy race and, showed pace after tardy starts in other races. But, look, it's going to be interesting on Saturday night. And I think a case can be made for most in the final.
And as Barry, like we'll all forget about it in 2 weeks' time in terms of what happened through all the heats if he goes and wins it and produces a big performance. So I mean, look, we're not trying to run down the dog. We've waxed lyrical about his ability. It's just about wanting to see it. Like still, like, I think when he was running in the English Derby, that they were talking about him being a next year dog. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's where he will be. Maybe when he gets another, kind of a bit of a break and comes back early in the season for the Easter Cup or the Gold Cup or whatever else that he goes for, and then onto the Derby. That maybe we'll see the very best. And I just think without trying to run the dog down, I just don't think he's doing what we know he can do just yet. Now, connections won't give a damn about that. Not the slightest damn about that. If he goes and wins the competition, it's nice money and it's prestigious competition. So, let that be if it will. But I just don't think I definitely don't think we're seeing the best of him. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, I think we're just holding him so high up in our esteem. And, the fact of the matter is, win, lose or draw on Saturday night, he's going to end the year as the beaten English Derby favourite and the beaten Laurels favourite if he doesn't happen to win it, or Laurels winner. It's a good year by anyone's standards, but I think we all agree that if he found that trapping, ability, he has the early speed. He's the massive pace on the back. We're a bit concerned by the fact that he's not coming home as well as we thought he would. Or he looks a stronger greyhound earlier in his career, but listen, that may still come. As you say, he is June 19. He does have plenty of age in his side, but no, there's no question that there's still better to come from Ballymacfairwan. And as we say, he's still going to be favoured to win next week's Laurels. The dogs that went out, Romeo Magico. I said it to you last week, and you both made the point that Trap 1 is such an advantage to greyhounds in Curraheen Park, but you need to be a trapper to make the most use of it. And he definitely doesn't want to be that far in. He definitely wants to be more of a middle runner. He was in a decent pitch the other night. If he stays tight to the fence, he's going to go round in a qualifying position as it was. He checks off. Now, it's so hard to know what happened. Ballymacfairwan and Ballymacwild may be coming in on him. He's forced to check out wide, but he's a very talented greyhound. I think if it was mine, I'd be putting the middle on him for perhaps the rest of the year or next year. Romeo Magico. The others to not qualify, Ballymacwild, who we touched upon. You just, like, for a greyhound that's been there, done that, you can't feel too sorry for him, but at the same time, he looked an absolute certainty into the opening corner. If he avoids Ballymacfairwan, he wins by 4 or 5 lengths in 28-20, and we're looking at the Laurels. We're looking at the Laurels favourite because he's going to be drawn in trap 3 in the final, if that's the way you're thinking. And on the and then Night Tornado, he just wasn't in the right pitch into the opening corner, took a hefty bump, and that was the end of his challenge. Anything to add to them, Tommy?
No, that's exactly how I saw it happen. Anyway, Night Tornado just missed it slightly. Ballymacwild was just broke like he did in the first 2 rounds. And even though we wouldn't have put him down as an exceptionally fast early pacer in Laurels style, which is Laurels is basically is somewhere in between sprinting and 4 bends racing. I mean, you need that type of early speed. I wouldn't have put him down as being a natural for the competition. And I'm looking at it thinking, geez, he was a little bit unlucky that he wasn't running into the final. For
him even to lead into the opening corner in such a hot heat was an estimate of the dog's ability.
It's some performance by connections as well, and by the dog itself, because he just seems to be doing it week in, week out, month in, month out. He just seems to do it all the time. He's a smashing dog. I know I've had my issues with him over the years, and probably will again. But I kind of feel sorry for him. I like those old rogues. I like those old rogues.
I know we can't call him a rogue now.
I get drawn to them. I get drawn to them sort of dogs. Yeah.
Barry, tell us how one time only won the second heat.
Well, there was certainly no fluke about it anyway. As we said, he was sent off a big price, 12 and 14 to 1 available in the ring before the start of that race. And, he got away to a really quick start. Skywalker Barry probably didn't get away to his quickest start. His sectionals have gone back over the last 2 weeks. 3:34 the previous week, 3:36 the other night when he came in for plenty of market support. Everyone thought he was going to dominate from start to finish. And in fairness, he had every chance going into the opening corner because they were alongside going around the opening corners. But One Time Only was much the stronger in the latter stages of the race and really pulled away really to win comfortably. 3.5 lengths the distance in 28:33. Skywalker Barry will really have to bounce back to top form next Saturday night. Look, he's in the final. Sure, Connections will be delighted with that, as will all the other 5 finalists, because at the end of the day, I suppose the first thing is to try and get a greyhound into the final, and then you can try and win it then. Droopy's good, showed a lot of middle pace to briefly head Skywalker Barry for second, but just not finishing out his races, not starting either. So Owen McKenna has a bit of work in his hands this week to see if he can get him back to his best next Saturday night. So look, I think there's a lot of questions over a lot of the finalists for next Saturday night, and that just makes it all that more puzzling.
Yeah, certainly is puzzling. Tommy, One Time Only, a very impressive winner. Skywalker Barry, is it a trend that when he is challenged early, he doesn't quite show the same early zip or the same speed? There's no point in putting it any other way. He was disappointing the other evening. You forgive him the previous week, he missed the kick and Ballymacfairwan got the hop on him. But the other night, it was something similar to the Derby Plate final, where off the start you'd go, now go. Make your move into the corner. Just never really came.
Yeah, it didn't. No, he did kind of edge in a little bit, and there were a couple of bumps along the way. I think with the winner, One Time Only. I think now. I'm watching on the video, the replays of it. He is slightly disappointed, but at the same time, he's a dog that's always capable of producing one big run. Now I don't know if he's going to do it out of trap 5. What trap was he in when he won the Juvenile Derby final? Was it 5?
He was close to the fence.
Oh, was he? Oh, sorry.
Next stage out of down Waterford.
Yeah, he's capable, and you wouldn't look into the race and go, God, there's brilliant breakers and massive early pacers. There's 2 big early pacers, Droopys Good and Ballymacfairwan, but neither of them is the most natural breaker. Now Droopys Good has a 3:23 on this card from the second round. I think the night he was beaten by Skywalker Barry.
Importantly, he was drawn on the outside of Skywalker Barry that night, and had they been reversed, could have been a very different scenario.
Yeah, it could have been, and One Time Only, as Barry was kind of alluding to there, even the other night, he did a 3:34. It's not electric, it's not exactly, breaking the bars down or anything like that. It's only okay. It just makes it a real puzzle. The one I was glad to see the qualify was Droopys Good. I was talking to Neil Murphy the other day. People who were regulars in Curraheen Park for many years will know Neil. He had a bit of a turn a few years ago, and he hasn't been able to go racing. I can tell you, he's definitely as clued in as ever he was about greyhound racing. He's following it. He's very much involved in this, Laurels, as he always was through the years. He likes Droopys Good. He's on his anti-post, so I kind of hope he wins it. And he watches this too. And he said if we could get a good presenter, it would probably be a great show. I know he didn't. Of course, he didn't say that. No, but in fairness,
this presenter agrees with him. I'm on it 16-1 too. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. No, look, it was great to talk to Neil. I hadn't spoken to Neil for a very long time, and just to know that he's involved in it, and he's actually getting a good kick out of watching this sort of stuff, and just kind of being kept up to date, maybe, or just having a little listen about what's going on. So Droopy's good for Neil. Droopy's good for Ian Fortune, and maybe you'll both be right. I think he has the best of the draw. I think he has the best of the draw.
I think he's the best of the draw if he hits the lids. One Time Only for me will definitely edge off the fence. You even look at him the other night going up from trap 3. He's not moving in at any point. He's staying to the middle of the track, and if anything, at times he's edging slightly off a middle line. So it is a concern for those on his immediate outside, which would be Droopys Good, of course, and in 3 Ballymacfairwan. But there's no question that if Droopys Good or Ballymacfairwan did get a start, that's their problem, of course. But if they did get a start, they'd probably have the early speed to clear One Time Only. Now, I know that's unfair to say to him a week after he's leading from the start against the likes of Skywalker Barry to win in 28:33. It's a fair achievement for Tommy O'Donovan. Tommy, he had 2 runners at the start of the competition. He has 2 finalists.
Yeah, he has. I'm just actually watching One Time Only out of trap 1 in a heat that he won he finished second in the Kirby, I think it was, behind Vallegro. He actually showed a lovely bit of acceleration in the first 25 yards, but like you said, he was out and maybe not quite out in trap 3, 2/3, kind of in the middle of it there somewhere, and actually let Vallegro go up his inside at the first bend. So you're onto something there. That it mightn't just be ideal. I mean, it actually could open the whole race up for Sweep the Yard. And big a monkey as he is, like, the ability is there. Like, he's going to be there. I think he did a Sweep the Yard the other night. Sweep the Yard does what he normally does. Like, he was passed down the back and came back again, and there was only a neck in it. He tends not to be beaten too far in races. Going back to
his record is now 14 wins, 29 seconds, and 14 thirds. While it's great to pay the bills, it's a bit frustrating.
Look, Sweep the Yard did the Sweep the Yard. That's what happened. But go back to Tommy O'Donovan. I think we were entirely fair about what we're saying about Epic Hero. I don't think it's his track. I don't think it's the fight. It's a sharp 5.25, which isn't exactly ideal either, I don't think. But at the same time, it's funny how over the years, classic winners tend to get to the latter stages of classics, no matter what is against them. You know what I mean? They're just that type of dog. They're good enough. You know, they find a way. Dogs that tend to get knocked out in quarterfinals in one classic tend to do something similar. They find their limit, and that's what they are. Epic Hero, to be fair to him, and none of us here, I think it's fair to say, fancy them whatsoever to win a Laurels. He's now in a final. I still don't think he's going to win it, but I'm not going to rule anything out at this stage because I find it an absolute puzzle, the entire thing. Connections will be absolutely delighted. I'm sure in their mind, they probably thought, you know what, we'll go to the Laurels and sharpen up and just see how we get on. And if things go well there, we'll progress on back to defend the ledger. Like, things are looking pretty good at the moment. He's going to pick up a nice check along the way. And who's to say he's not going to win? Who's to say he's not going to win it? In fairness to Tommy O'Donovan, it's a great achievement to get him there from out of Tramp 6. Yes, there was a bit of luck involved, but there was no luck involved, as Barry said, at one time only. That's a fair achievement to get both of those in. And actually, you know, one of them has, even if you don't necessarily want Trap 1, if you are a breaker or you can break or can show acceleration like he can, it's a great trap to be in. It's a bit like in the Derby final, you said the bitch Susie Sapphire might prefer Trap 2. They don't, you know what I mean? If you're good enough, their
rivals are still going to have to hit it and get around the inside runner.
Exactly. You'd rather take every tiny advantage you can possibly take, no matter how small it is. Take every little advantage you can. So, I honest to God, you ask me any of them there, and if you were to ask me which is the first dog I'd rule out of the final, I haven't a clue. I genuinely don't, and that's to be straight up about it.
Well, that's what we're here for, the expert views. Barry, the three dogs got knocked out of the semi. Brogan Highway, Lynchy Boy, two greyhounds you're more than familiar with, and out in Trap 6, Stray and Jet. To be honest, they never really got involved. It was just one of those races. Lynchy Boy threatened down the back straight, I believe, but Droopys Good was always holding him.
Yeah, it sure was. And I think Tommy spoke about that last week. I think someone was trying to make a case maybe for Lynchy Boy in Trap number 2, but big difference between 2 and 1. They just seemed to break out of 1. I know there was a slow starter inside, but Lynchy Boy just couldn't get away to his best start, and I thought he still ran with.
But isn't it amazing? Like, he has a slow starter on his inside. He looks such a natural starter from the inside. Yeah. You stick him out in Trap 2, and it's the difference. Like, it's difference of a length and a half at boxes, and qualifying or not qualifying. It's just amazing. Like, I know, like, what it goes, overall, it's just amazing. It makes such a difference to a greyhound like him.
I'd say he thought he was put into the wrong box. He was in number 1. In fairness, he was so used to running out of Trap for 1. But look, he's a great greyhound. He was only beaten a couple of lengths in the end, so it really was a good performance considering he didn't get off to his usual quick start. Brogan Highway, that was the big local hope this year. He was competing on the graded scene over the last couple of months, and I'm sure John and Margarita O'Donoghue will be proud of their greyhound. Just unfortunate he couldn't progress because it would have been a great week ahead for the local connections, and Dragon Jet just wasn't to be on Saturday night. Just going back to one time only, that's quite a training performance from Thomas O'Donovan, because he picked up problems after Limerick. He was off the track for a couple of months, and if you see him run down in Curraheen Park in the middle of September and his 2 comeback runs, you would have said he was a million to make a Laurels semi-final, not a Minder final. So as I said, looked fantastic training performance. He was beaten 13.5 lengths in the opening round by Cumleo, but he's progressed every round since. And as I said, that's just an unbelievable training performance. So
yeah, he was obviously a dog that probably wasn't fully ready for the start of the competition, but it's just gotten better and better, improved. And who knows, he gets a start on Saturday night, he could well be the Laurels champion. We'll take a look at that final, Tommy. From the outset, what is there anything? Listen, I always go back to when you look at a draw and it's tricky. What's your first instinct?
First instinct is that the traps 1 and 2 are best drawn, but because it's Curraheen Park, trap 1 is a great draw. He was 12-1 in the semi-finals. Like, he'll still be a reasonable price. I think people will want to think that maybe it was a bit of a fluke, but it was his best performance to date in Curraheen Park, and there's no saying he couldn't find a bit more. Like, I just don't like. I've tried to make the case for Droopys Good in my head in the past over a number of weeks, trying to, I fancied him in the first round. I was a little bit disappointed with him. Then I thought he ran better in defeat. Then the kind of I felt the traps were there was a lot of dogs charging traps in the so I was trying to make an excuse again. He ran fine the other night, but if he doesn't flash out and lead 1 time only clear, he'll have to get a length out of a good dog.
It's like this, Tommy. It's like this, Tommy. If he does this 3:23, I think he wins the Laurels.
No, I'm not certain. Not certain at all. And I'm not entirely fancying that he will do a 3:23 now. But I when I looked at the draw first, I thought, gee, trap 2 would probably win it. The more I look at it, the more I could get a little bit confused. I think 1 time only. I didn't spot that run coming on Saturday night. Right, I've said that, but he's lightly raced. He's obviously had issues. He's obviously still improving. And he has enough early pace. You watch that heat again in Limerick. He has a little injection of early pace. Even if he is moving off a little bit, he has a little injection of early pace that might be enough to prevent the likes of Droopys Good getting a length on him. Ballymacfairwan, I don't know. If they get him out of traps, wouldn't he rag anything to the first bend? That's on what I've seen so far. I don't think Ballymacfairwan can clear them. I'm not certain Droopys Good can clear 1 time only. I think Skywalker Barry can do anything in a single run, so I wouldn't rule him out. But the draw looks terrible. Sweep the Yard might get the best of the draw. Epic Hero has been desperately unfortunate with draws. I mean, that looks a horrible draw yet again, because Skywalker Barry will edge in. Ballymacfairwan and Droopys Good should have too much early pace for him, so that he's going to be the meat and the sandwich, or at best the meat and the sandwich. At worst, he's going to be behind them going into the bend. And Sweep the Yard, he could do anything, but the problem is if it gets gifted to him, will he take it? I don't know. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. Again, we're paying for the extra view. Barry, what do you make of the final?
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, obviously, when the 6 greyhounds went through and I see the draw, I just thought it was a real puzzle. 28-33 1 time only did last week. I think that could win the final on Saturday night. I'm not expecting a big flashy title, unless the Dowlings can get Ballymacfairwan off to an absolute flying start. Then we could see something special, and I suppose that's what we'll be all hoping for. But on the basis of the draw, I did invest a couple of quid when you two lads were speaking highly of Droopys Good at 16-1, but going on recent performances, not starting and not finishing off his race, I'd find it hard to fancy him. But at the same time, there could be a big run in him on Saturday night.
Yeah, I with a dog like him, I just tend to ignore the form, because you know that he'll be a completely different greyhound if he gets to the front, and that's my reckoning. Now I'm clinging on to every straw.
Hold on, who
have here? It's 16-1, but no, I'm just saying if he traps on terms, gets to the front, it's a different race. Because is there anything in the race you see coming from behind?
Is that Dylan Brennan or is that Ian Fortune? Sorry. You're bagging the drum this week.
I'm feeling bullish after Droopys Gloss. You see.
We're looking. We're looking. We're paying for expert view, which we're not getting, and an unbiased look at the race, which we're not getting either, Ian. You and I should leave and let Barry do it.
I genuinely think it's a 5-2 to field race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with that.
I don't think there's any greyhound that should be less than 5-2.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think it's.
I suppose, look, you'll see the real Droopys Good when he pops out in front, because like any other bigger
man, Barry.
when they're not leading, they're in trouble. So look, at the same time, he's there in trap number 2, and Owen McKenna will have to work his magic for you. Have you been on the phone to him yet? Ian, giving him the prep talk.
Join us next week on Talking Good or Talking Droopys Good. Tommy, tell me what's going to win the final.
Go on, when in doubt, you have to go with trap 1. It's gonna go around in my head about 1,000 times over the next few days before I actually put it in print. But when in doubt, go with trap 1. Ask Barry how much money he's made out of trap 1 in Curraheen Park this year alone, and he'll go with trap 1 too.
Barry, what's going to win the Laurels?
I don't know. I'd say my decision probably won't be made till Friday night, and it'll probably change a couple of times over the next couple of days. I suppose, look, as I said already, I haven't been too impressed by Ballymacfairone over the course of the competition, but I still think he is the dog they'll probably have to beat now looking ahead to the final. If he can produce his quickest start, I think he's the fastest in the competition. Do I want to back him with 2-1, 9-4? No. Will I take a chance on something like trap number 1 time only at about 9-2, 5-1? We'll just have to wait and see. But as I said, look, excitement. Derby is building now ahead of the final on Saturday night. It's always a special occasion in Curraheen Park on Saturday night, and we're very much looking forward to it. And hopefully, we'll have a large crowd from not just people in Cork, but greyhound enthusiasts all over the country come together for a great night out.
Yeah, hopefully those in power don't start throwing spanners in the works with the numbers being high and whatnot. October 22nd, lift us and we'll have a great night in Curraheen Park on Saturday night. I can promise you I'll be there, and I have every intention of having a good night. Gentlemen, we're looking forward to it. It should be a great final. I'm going to side with Droopy's Good, purely out of pocket talk here, but I do think he is the best of the draw. If he does get across 1 time only early, I think he'll be in front into the back straight, and I think that's where you want to be in the Laurels Decider. But I think it's a race where not one of the 6 runners have produced their best night in, night out. They've all shown glimpses. Skywalker Barry had a couple of brilliant performances. Ballymacfairone won tremendous display. Epic Hero has won 2 heats of the competition without really pulling up trees, but we know he's capable on the big night like he did last year in the Ledger. Sweep the yard. Well, I wouldn't mind a bit of 9-40 makes the frame. 1 time only. He was a 12-1 chance in the semi-final. Here we are talking about winning the final. There's no question he's coming the right way. He's gotten back to his form, but he's going to need to come out of boxes. I know he's in the right box to do that. It's really is an intriguing final. I always say the word intriguing when I basically haven't a bull's notion what's going to happen. So I'm going to go for Droopy's Good. And listen, whatever way it lands, it lands. Now, we're going to move you on to Shelbourne Park on Saturday night, gentlemen. There were 2 brilliant displays in the 2 feature races. Droopys Gloss, though, was the one that landed the spoils, a tremendous winner of the Juvenile Derby from Curraheen and John Coleman. Tommy, we've known she's very, very talented. I suppose the key to her successes is her trapping ability seemed to really improved over the last few weeks. And the other evening, as the rain continued through the night, I think one of the races prior in the race, but you could just sense that bit heavier. Everything seemed to be falling in favor of Droopys Gloss, but she took her opportunity with absolute precision.
Yeah, she did. She's a classy bitch. We talked about it here. You were very keen on her from an early stage. I was mad keen at the price before the semi-final. As I said last week, I was regretting not going up on or stopping on the way to Curraheen on the previous Saturday night to go and back her at 8-1. She was an each-way steal at the time. She had a brilliant draw in the semi-final, and to be fair, she had a brilliant draw in the final. She had 2 dogs who wouldn't be renowned early pacers, Croker Spirit and Barefoot Supremo inside in traps 1 and 2, and it was an ideal opportunity for her to pop out and lead, or as I thought, it was either she was going to lead or Serene Ace, who isn't the strongest of stayers, was going to lead her, and she was going to tuck in behind and prove too strong. It's the way I read the race. Once she led, she then had the buffer of Serene Ace behind her, because he wasn't going to come from 3 lengths behind her halfway. He wasn't going to get to her.
Yeah, well, nothing's coming from behind her anyway.
Nothing's going to come from her, but it's also a buffer in case anything like Deadly Diego had produced some smashing runs in previous rounds. Croker Spirit had produced some really, really smart runs as well in the previous rounds. So once she popped out and led, it was all over. But she is, you think looking at her style of race and you say straight away she's going to be a kind of a 550, maybe a Derby bitch for next year. She just wanted to get a bit more consistent, or a bit maybe not consistent, maybe a little bit sharper at the traps when she's going to take on the big boys next year. I think that's going to be that Juvenile Derby lost a good bit of its early pace in the semi-finals. I felt a good bit of it. I fell by the wayside, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I think we have
that's racing. That's racing.
Yeah, I think we have as deserving a winner as we could have had. She's a brilliant bitch. She really is, and she has that potential to go to the next step. I'm definitely not saying she won't do it, but if she's going to be Susie Sapphire set a ridiculous standard this year, and if she's going to be of that ilk, she's going to have to find a little bit of sharpness. But that's kind of maybe looking too far ahead and worrying about that. I think what we saw was something a bit special. I just do want to say one thing about the Laurels final. Sorry, and it corresponds with what you were saying about the 9-4 Sky.
Just my end or your end. I'm breaking.
I was losing a bit both there, but I just wanted to say one thing about the Laurels final. like you had said about the 9-4, about the trap 6 being involved and being in the frame. I don't think I can let 14-1 go without having something very small each way. I still think it'll do a sweep the yard and probably finish second. But it has 28-31 on the clock in Curraheen Park, which is good enough to probably win next week's final. As Barry said, I am very much of the same mind as Barry. I'm not expecting 28 seconds, 28-10, not even maybe 28-20. I'm expecting it to be maybe a 28-30 run that will win the Laurels. So sweep the yard has a chance. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in because we have passed over on that. But Droopys Gloss, take nothing away from her. She's a little star. And you are the happiest man in Ireland, I'd say. Well, maybe after John Coleman and Mert Leahy, you were the happiest man in Ireland on Saturday night. More money for the mattress.
I'm not sure about the money part of things. It wasn't all that much. It wasn't that heavy an investment. I suppose it's just when you put your opinion there, you just want to be proven right every now and again. It's just nice to get an anti-post winner for that, as much as anything else. Barry Droopys Gloss, a very good winner. I'd just like to also mention All for the Best, who was an absolutely brilliant winner of the Resets Open 600. This is a dog that really had stepped forward. And the other night, he cleared them into the bend comfortably and ran right away to win by 9 lengths. 32-46. It was safe to say it was much slower than the 20 they were rating it.
Yeah, exactly. That was a fantastic performance. Really enjoyed that. I think John Codd, as I see in your report, is the head of that syndicate. So no doubt they'll be delighted with that performance. One of the performances of the weekend. And of course, look, Droopys Gloss, a very special lady. She's treated us to some wonderful runs now over the last couple of months, couple of weeks, and it would have been a special occasion for Mert Leahy and all his family, who were passionate greyhound people and never, I suppose, shying away from stuff. Always posting some great stuff on social media. His wife Deirdre and all the family. So look, a massive well done to them, and no doubt it was a great weekend.
Yeah, I got a couple of texts from Deirdre on Saturday night, and by all accounts, it seems that they were enjoying themselves, having a bit of a celebration. And I think that's part and parcel of the Irish greyhound scene. It is very much a family affair. It means so much to everybody involved, and well done to the Leahy clan, and of course John Coleman, who I've been told is the local pharmacist in Kilcullen. And he's been involved a long time, and I believe normally he I've been told he leases normally off the Dumfries, but on this occasion he actually owns Droopys Gloss, so he has something to look forward to in the future. It's great to own your very best one rather than leasing her, and I'll tell you one thing, she is a very special lady. Really look forward to seeing her again. Another bitch to add to the increasing numbers of superstars. Just the last mention, Skywalker Silla and Billy's Diva are doing the business for Ireland over in the UK at present in the English Oaks. They're first and second favourites. They both have a reasonable draw in the semi-finals. Very best of luck to the connections of both of those ladies. But that's it for this week. Thank you, gentlemen. Tommy, Barry, we'll see you Saturday night at Curraheen Park. If Sweep the Yard wins, Tommy, you can buy me a few pints. If Droopys Good wins, Barry, you can buy us a few pints, and we won't mention what I'll do. Listen, have a great one, lads, and we'll see you Saturday night.
All right, thanks, Ian.
Well, folks, that's it from Talking Dogs on this Monday. We're looking forward to a magnificent final of the Friends of Cork Greyhound Racing Irish Laurels. A tremendous night ahead at Curraheen Park on Saturday. Hopefully another real celebration of all that is great about greyhound racing. Enjoy it. We'll see you next week.